All right. Okay, I'm gonna um, plug in. Okay, so let's play with just two blankets and a block. Well, our two blocks. Oops. And a little heat. Okay. All right, blocks. Okay. All right, let's actually do one prep before we sit. Okay, so I'm gonna take one arm under one leg and hold the opposite knee just to prop. So this leg becomes a little passive. All right, just a little point and flex, point and flex. And again, it doesn't have to be a sharp point. It can go a little bit on the slow, not pushing into the end range. Exploring range of motion, but not pushing into the end range. And then a little, I'm just going to actually turn the foot, right? So the lower leg is externally rotating and then internally rotating. Externally rotating and internally rotating. I realize I'm wearing everything dark today. And again, externally rotating. Internally rotating, little external rotation, and even turning the sole of the foot towards the side of the room, internally rotating, turning the sole of the foot up towards the face. Again, you're just playing with it, doesn't have to be pushing into it. Then let's do a circle combining all of those elements, right? So point, eversion, no, that's inversion, flex, eversion. Again, notice your breath. Good, and then let's change direction. Good. Good. And then just switch legs. Opposite leg. Again, little point and flex. Point and flex, also letting the toes, right, also curl with the point and lift and spread with the flex. And prop yourself up so that leg can be as passive as possible. And then eversion, inversion, right? Inversion, trying to swing towards the midline, eversion, swinging away. Or you can just start with simple, just turning out and turning in. Let's start there. Right, so you're feeling there's two lower leg bones, right? We have the tibia and the fibula, so there's a little bit of similar to the forearm bones, less rotation. One bone moving in relationship to the other bone, both bones moving in relationship to each other. And then that little bit more of a kind of sweeping, right? So it's external rotation and eversion, internal rotation and inversion. Just playing with the movement at the ankle, just feel what's happening through the length of the lower leg, front, back, sides, and then turning that into a circle. And trying to keep that leg passive, especially in the hip, which is not so easy because the whole leg is connected. And then change direction. Good, one more. Oh, good. And relax. Okay. Similar. We're going to do it again, but a little different. So this time I'm going to play with turning the foot out. Well, do we need the prop? Yeah, so turning the foot out slightly. And I'm just going to point and flex, point and flex as I turn the foot out and as I slowly work towards straightening the leg. I'm not straightening all the way. And then I'm going to turn in and do the opposite. Coming down or bending the leg. Again, can be quite gentle if you need. And then keeping that turn in, and we're going to go up. And then the other side. Turning out, point, flex, point, flex, point, flex, point, flex. Good little circle at the end. Good, and then let's just do an external rotation, internal rotation as we straighten. Again, don't push into the end range. Keep it quite easy. Kind of waving the foot. Notice what's happening with the toes and the hip. Good. Let's just straighten the legs, just bounce the knees a little. Good. Other side. This is a little bit of work, so go slow. So turning out, and again, a little point and flex as you straighten the leg. And then turn in and point and flex to bend. And then keep that turn in and let's point and flex to straighten. And turn out and a little point and flex to bend. Yes, do what you can. And then just a little turn in and out as you straighten. And as you bend. Good. And relax. And straighten. Okay. So I'm going to grab one blanket. And I'm just going to roll it. You get to decide. And you can always change it. So I'm rolling it maybe about halfway. I'll show you why. So I'm going to take one of my blocks. So I'm going to take a block between the feet, right, lowest height, so that I can sit on the block. But then I'm going to take my rolled up blanket and I'm just going to let my weight shift forward. Then I'm going to tuck my blanket behind my knees and then sit back. So you may actually need your second block. So I don't want to give myself too much support because I want to feel the compression in my calves and my hamstrings, but I don't want so much that I can't stay in it. Right, so actually, if your roll is high enough, then that block and the roll just feels really interesting. Again, you don't want it too intense. You don't want too much sensation. My calves are extremely tight. But you want a little bit of compression. Just enough. Good, inhaling through the nose. Let's exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth, nice and easy. Sigh, inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. You're letting your own air out. Good. Just a simple rotation to one side, not very big, just simple rotation. And other side, simple rotation. And center. Okay, so I'm just going to shift forward. And I'm just going to roll my roll back just a little bit, maybe an inch. Actually, I don't need that. You can always tuck a little bit of your second blanket under there if you need a little bit. My block is too high for this part. And again, just breathing. Let's just lift shoulders up towards the ears, shoulder blades to ears, and then down towards the hips, and up towards the ears, and down towards the hips. Good, letting the head tip forward. And again, shoulders towards the ears, maybe not as much, and down towards the hips. And then just rolling the head to the right ear towards right shoulder. And center. And left ear, left shoulder. And center. And bringing the head up. Good, and let's just shift forward. Good. Taking that blanket out, and then just coming to sit on the block. Good, just noticing what you notice. Tops of the feet, front of the shin, across the front of the knee, front of thigh, front hip, and then the back. Right, so sole of foot, calf, at the fold of the knee, the back of the thigh, the back of the hip. Just closing your eyes for one moment, just tuning into legs, hips, knees. Just settling, softening, feeling the toes spread, feeling the sitting bones spread wide. And feeling the backs of the thighs spread. Even the back of the knee spread. And the back of the lower legs spread. Just that widening, softening. And feeling that also in the tops of the feet and the lower legs. Across the front of the knee. Front of the thigh. Front of the hip. And then broadening belly, back, upper back, chest, back of neck, throat. And the forehead, the eyes, space between the ears. Okay, let's shift forward and off of your block. And I'm going to shift onto my back. Okay, and we have done these a little bit, but we're going to play with these. So just letting your back settle into the ground, letting your hips, your feet, your back, your head settle. Right, so just feeling the tissue between pubis and belly button and lower ribs. Just gonna finger awareness there, and I'm just gonna play with lifting that right heel, ball, toe up, bringing the knee over the hip. And just feeling what turns on. What pushes up into the hand, what is quiet. Right, sometimes it's shape, sometimes the pelvis is still anteriorly tilted. Sometimes the back muscles are working more than the front muscles and pushing the spine up. Just noticing. And then let's do left leg, heel, ball, toe up. Right, just feeling, almost looking for a cohesiveness or a balance between all of that tissue, right? The length of the rectus abdominis. And then right foot down, left foot down. Letting everything soften and spread. And lift knee up, and peeling the heel, ball, toe. And right knee up. Again, noticing what pushes into the hand, what's quiet, what still is not turned on yet. And then left foot down. Right foot down. Right, and ideally just getting a sense of what is overworking, what is underworking, and how to just quietly make changes so that as you bring foot off the floor, knee over the hip. And the other side, you're finding more of that integration, right? That you're finding the whole length without overworking the back, without gripping in the face. Right foot down, left foot down. One more time, left knee up. Right knee up. Again, maybe it's just tipping the pubis towards the ribs a little bit more. Maybe it's quieting the back ribs down a little bit more. Left foot down. Right foot down. Feeling what's happening in your body. This time we're going to come up and stay up just for a breath. Right knee up. Left knee up. This time I'm actually going to bring hands behind the head, lift the head, look at the pubic bone or the lower ribs. Can you feel, can you still connect to what's on, what's not turning on? And then right foot down, left foot down. Keeping the head up one last time on that left side, left knee up. Right knee up. This time I'm just going to release the hands forward, keeping that chin tucked towards the chest. And just feeling again, front throat, from ribs to pubis. Just a little kind of C curve, front body engagement. And then left foot down, right foot down. Keep the chin tucked towards the chest as you lower the head down. Okay, arms alongside the body. I'm going to float that right knee up again. Just a little circle with the knee. little circle. And circles smooth. If you feel clicking, make the circle smaller, let it be slower. And noticing what's wanting to work, neck, back of neck, shoulders, back, body. If you can, maybe the circle can get bigger. And then you have a little more information, outer hip, back of hip, inner thigh, front hip. Just this small engagement of the entirety around the hip and thigh. You can even keep, again, not a lot of effort, but the thigh moving, the pelvis somewhat still, not fixed, but still. Let's change direction. You can stay with the bigger circle and move towards a smaller circle or vice versa. You can also play with letting the pelvis roll a little bit to the right, to the left, maybe even as the knee moves away slightly towards anterior tilt, as the knee moves towards slight posterior tilt. It's not a lot of movement, but it's still just a play, curiosity, see how it feels. And then coming back to center and right foot to the floor. But noticing just right hip, right leg, right side of the body. Left side of the body, what feels different. And then other leg, peeling that left foot up. Starting with a small circle. Noticing what direction you started. Is it the same as the other side? Was it an opposite circle? Was it the same circle? Like from in to out or out to in? And if there's clicking, make it smaller, make it slower. This somewhat still, without a lot of effort, noticing jaw, noticing breath. Making that circle a little bigger. Give you a little more information about outer thigh, inner thigh. But sometimes that outer leg, inner leg balance can be a little off. One working more than the other, or front hip, front thigh, back thigh. And you can have a little more movement in the pelvis if that feels good. Good. And then slowly, did we change direction? Change direction. I forgot about that. It's just feeling really good on this side. A little smoother on this side than the other side. So notice that as well. Did you have a smoother side? And you can go from big circle to little circle or start little to big. Again, going slowly if you need. Play with it, right? Sometimes going slow is harder, but you get more information. So sometimes you have to make it smaller to go slow. And let's find our way back to center point. And left foot on the floor. Okay. Then we're going to take a block. I'm going to take the block between, actually, let's do behind the knee somewhat. And if that doesn't feel good, you can use the heel to tail approach, right? Heel to sitting bone. Let's actually all do this one. It's a little easier. Okay, so I'm pinning the block against my sitting bone. And I'm giving it a good squeeze. And again, if that doesn't feel right, do the other one. And the squeeze, the amount of squeeze depends on your body. Right, meaning that if it feels good, you can squeeze a little bit more. And then again, just a little circle. And noticing what circle you're starting with, arms alongside the body. Actually, sometimes hands on the ribs just give you a little information about how much you're working in your ribs, especially the back ribs. Or front ribs. And some of us overuse the front, some of us overuse the back. Just finding the balance. Again, so playing with all aspects of the circle, up, out, down, and across. And a circle can be small. Good. And then let's change direction. And the circle can be small, you're just playing with range of motion. And if there's clicking or no clicking, I don't have any clicking on the side with the engagement. It's very interesting. Few more breaths here. Good. And finding a center point. Good. Release your block, foot to the floor, and notice. Good. Other side. Heel to block again, unless it feels easier on the leg to do it behind the knee. Good. Find that squeeze, find a good engagement, nothing too strong. And circle. And the circle can be quite small. I have very slippery pants today. Noticing jaw, throat, mid back, groin, hands. Nice and easy, noticing your breath. Is the breath shallow? Circle can get bigger if that's available to you. And a little more work in the body, noticing how that feels. All right, and the leg coming up and out, and down and across. And going slower or smaller if you need. And then let's change direction. Good. And slower, smaller, or you can start with a big circle, work to small, or start with a small circle, work to big. Notice the quality between this leg and the other leg. This leg is just so much smoother for me. Noticing how much the back is working, the shoulders are working, the jaw is working, right? That it's a whole body movement. We want the whole body to work, but noticing the areas that are overly helping. And then come back to center, take that block out. And settle. Good. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my rolled up blanket again. If it unrolled, you can roll it back up. Doesn't have to be, again, a big roll. And then I'm going to slide that. I'm just going to lift my hips up and slide that under my pelvis. Good. And finding a place, right, that your pelvis feels balanced, like right now, because I tend to very strongly move towards an anterior tilt. I'm walking the ribs away, letting my pelvis tip towards my head. You can be a little more neutral. You can be a little more posteriorly tilted. That'll also help you kind of keep your front ribs from pushing up to the ceiling, engaging those back muscles. But I'm almost trying to let the back body broaden a little bit, broaden, widen, the front body to broaden and widen. Especially because there's no effort right now. Let's take right knee up again. And this time I'm going to take hold. Actually, let's take hold either around the back of the thigh or the shin. Then I'm going to walk that left foot out about halfway. So the sole of the foot is on the floor. Just have a little more opening in the back of the knee and the front of the hip. Maybe that right knee comes a little closer to the chest. Don't even have to pull, it just might happen. And one more breath here. And then depending again on your body, maybe straightening that left leg. And let the heel come to the floor, the knee can also be slightly bent. Just getting a little more into that front hip. Right, one front hip is closed, one front hip is open. Okay, we've done this one before as well. So right knee out to the right. I'm using that right hand to guide that knee out. Moving the knee away from the midline, getting that just an inner thigh opening, groin to knee. And then bringing that knee back to center. And I'm going to take the hand, opposite hand, left hand to knee. And the pelvis is going to stay heavy, but I'm going to let that right knee come across to the left. And it's not very much. The tissue on the outer leg is much more dense. And then center, right knee guides that right leg out to the right. And center and across. And pelvis is pretty heavy still, but I have a little more. My body gave me a little bit more range of motion. And then back to center, right knee to the right. And center. And I feel a little bit of tug of war from my inner leg and outer leg. This time I'm gonna let my pelvis roll. So left hand is gonna take that right knee to the right. Pelvis is gonna roll. You take that right arm out to the right. Head can even roll right. Right, if it's too much stretch, you can always roll your head to the left. And so I'm on my outer left hip or glute. And then I'm going to slowly roll back, but I'm going to let my left hand hold my right knee just for a little bit as the pelvis starts to turn. It's getting a little bit more into that outer right thigh. And then slowly rolling out to my back. One more time, right. And center. And left, letting the pelvis roll, getting that nice glute massage. Little rotation, breathing into those ribs. This is a big twist, I'm getting a lot of action in my side body. And then again, I'm going to let the pelvis start to roll back. The left hand is just keeping that right leg, holding it back a little bit. So there's a little resistance as I roll back onto my back. Let's do one more. Right and center and left and center. And you can go slower or more quickly. And I'm going to bring right foot to the floor. Let that right leg straighten. So 2 straight legs, keeping a little bit of posterior tilt. Right, so I'm feeling it more in the fronts of the thighs than in the lower back, right? This lifts arch in the lower back. And then left knee comes up, left knee comes in, and I'm going to bend that right leg just a little bit to start. Left knee towards the chest. Just breathing, pausing, breathing. And maybe letting that left leg, just that transition from a closed hip to an open hip. And then maybe walk that right leg out. And again, the right leg doesn't have to straighten all the way. It can stay bent, slightly bent. But it's a big, to me, there's a lot, because I sit a lot right now. There's a lot of stuff happening on the front of my thigh, front hip. Okay, left hand is going to take that left knee out to the left. Just feeling that inner thigh. And center. Right hand is going to take that left knee across to the right. And there's not a big movement. I have much more range of motion than the other side. And center, but it's still not a big movement. And then left leg out to the left. Right, inner thighs. Center. And outer thighs. So, which is interesting, our inner legs are more connected to our central line, which is more connected to our core strength. Sometimes when there's a weakness in our core strength, we overstabilize with our outer body, which is what I do. And then center, and then out to the left. Right, sometimes it's just the awareness of that, or if we have an asymmetry, right? If there's an imbalance, right side, left side, which I definitely have. Right, some of us, their imbalances are more front to back or top to bottom. So right arm guiding that left leg to the right again, and then this time letting the pelvis roll. Left arm can stay out to the left. Again, your head can turn either away from the knees, and that might deepen the stretch, or towards the knees, and that might just minimize it a little bit. And then slowly rolling back. Pelvis is going to roll back first. Right hand is just keeping that left knee. Just a little bit of resistance as you roll back onto your back. Left knee to the left. And center and across. Slow roll, getting that nice back of glute, outer glute. And rolling center, that little bit of resistance. Also gives you a little deeper glute roll on that bottom hip. And just getting a little of that outer hip, outer body. Left knee left. And I'm just going a little more quickly, but you can go slower. Noticing if the ribs want to push up towards the ceiling. And back to center. Left foot on the floor. Left leg straight. And pause. It's good, bending your knee, feet on the floor. Then scooping the sitting bones up and taking that walk or the roll out to the side, slowly, slowly, slowly roll down. Good. Good, and then just holding, I'm just going to hold the back of my thigh. And I'm going to grab my hamstring tendons, right? So if the knee is bent and you grab from outer leg to the back of the knee, you'll feel the hamstring tendons. They're big sinewy tendons. And I'm just going to play with holding the tendons and almost pulling them away from each other, just gently, or it's almost like my fingers are going in towards the bone and slightly away from each other. And then again, I'm just going to play with straightening the leg a little bit, bending the leg a little bit, straightening and bending. This time I'm going to turn the foot out and straighten. Turn the foot in back to the beginning of the class and bend. One more time, turn the foot out and slowly straighten as I'm just kind of pinning the tissue towards the bone. Turn the foot in and bend. Let's change direction. Foot is turned in, slowly straighten. Turn out, slowly bend. One more time, turn in, straighten, turn out, and bend. Good. And then just a little, just straightening. Right, once you straighten, that tissue can get pretty taut, so it doesn't have to be all the way straight. Even just walk your fingers down the inside of those big tendons. And then maybe walk across the knee to the tendons of the lower legs, feeling that they're shorter, they're much less dense, but good. Little circle with your foot, change direction, and knee bends. Other side, again, taking hold of just fingers just inside those thick tendons. And a little point. And flex. Again, I'm just pulling the point and flex. I'm doing it backwards on this side. For some reason, I'm flexing to go up. I'm pointing to go down. I think I did opposite on the other side. So you can change it, whatever feels interesting or helpful. Good, and then again, I'm going to turn the foot in as I straighten and turn the foot out, externally rotate as I bend. Turn in as I straighten, turn out as I bend, change direction, turning out as I straighten, turn in As I bend again, I'm just grabbing the tissue, turning out, straighten, pinning it towards the bone and in. Good, and then almost straighten. And you can just kind of palpate up and down inside that tendon. And then cross the knee up into the lower leg. And then straight leg, just a big circle. And change direction. And bend. Okay, last thing, let's grab our strap for 1 minute. Ooh. Strap or TheraBand, whatever your preference is. Oh. Let's take right foot up on the strap. Good. I'm going to take my right hand. Both straps have right hand has both straps, and I'm just going to take that right leg out to the side. Let my left knee fall out to the side. And then center. And then right leg moves across the body, knees still bent. Good. And center. And then I'm going to straighten that left leg one more time, right leg out to the side. Left leg is heavy. And center and right leg across to the left. You can let the pelvis roll just like we did on the blanket. Bringing that left elbow to the floor, letting that right leg get closer to the floor, pelvis turn, right shoulder on the floor. And then center. Just pause for a moment here. Maybe a little flex and a point, right? Just to feel what's happening in the lower leg, a little bit of a nerve stretch as well. And then bend, foot to the floor. Right? We're not staying long, we're not pushing into it very much. Left foot on the floor, or left foot on the strap, sorry. Right knee bent, right foot on the floor. Just taking that left hand into both straps, take the left leg out to the side. Right knee out to the side. So we're getting that. It's a long lever now on that inner thigh stretch. And then center. Right, so feel the difference between a bent leg and a straight leg. The left leg comes across to the right. The knees bent. Again, there's not that much range of motion, but it's quite a bit of opening on that outer leg. And then center, let's take that right leg straight. And left arm, left leg out to the left, right arm out to the right. And slowly up to center. And then change hands. Left leg comes across to the right, pelvis rolls to the right. Even bring that right elbow to the floor. Again, you can look right or left. Left is going to make it a little more interesting or intense. And then slowly roll back onto your back. Good. Bend that knee. And let's take our roll and just tuck it under. So it can be just above the knee, it can be behind the knee. Just giving the thighs a little lift. And just that little bit of softness into the back of the knee. So letting the back of the pelvis settle and the ribs settle and the head and the neck settle. Letting all the busyness settle. Right, we had full moon yesterday, so just feeling the tail end of that last night actually. still got more amplified or heightened energy, right, which can amplify anything in your field. So listening to your breath. Relaxing lips and jaw and eyes, mouth, tongue. Feeling the support of the floor under you. Feeling your body settle into that support. Softening and any softening and any awareness. Maybe there's a need that your body has. Maybe something became more apparent in our movement or now in our stillness. The last full moon of the year, so just noticing that the busyness, the season, also just noticing what your needs are in this season. There might be more obligation or just busyness. And wiggling fingers and toes. The movement in hands and feet, arms and legs. Bending. Rolling. Gently come up to sit. With one hand on heart, one hand on belly. Good, letting your exhale, almost a sharper exhale. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4. Pause for 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 8, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time. Inhale, 4. Pause for 7. Exhale, 8. And relax the breath. That sense of the back of your head, the back of the room, back of your body. Sense of your inner body. Sense of your heart. Just checking in. And let's finish with one Om. Just feeling the sound and the vibration settle into your system. Calm, relaxed, present, clear for the rest of your day. Palms together. Namaste.